Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Tom Homan, our friend, the Borders are now in Minnesota. And he said he is hoping for some collaboration between the locals. And in fact, he got a big breakthrough announcing that really left of the left radical, Keith Ellison, the attorney general there of Minnesota, who's been very provocative and I think incendiary in his comments about Trump and also about ICE. Well, he says, Tom Homan, that Keith Ellison has agreed that he's clarifying his remarks and is going to allow the locals, the local authorities, the county authorities and others to cooperate with the feds. He said, that was always sort of the policy. Yeah, right. It just shows when you bring somebody in like Tom Homan with the backing of the president and his no-nonsense style, that maybe things change. Hopefully things will temper down. I'm not sure about that, though, because tomorrow is another big national anti-ICE day in Minnesota and across the country. And supporters are calling for it around the nation, saying it's going to start tomorrow and it's going to continue for days upon days. Boy, oh boy, buckle up, everybody. It's cold outside. In fact, in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, it's 2 degrees. If you think you're cold where you are, it's 2 degrees. But it's still warm enough for those protesters who I believe are getting paid to get out there and warm up and taunt and harass ICE. It's never too cold for that. So Tom Homan out there today talking about that, yes, some strides have been made, but he also said that they are going to go big time after those who are backing these protests. Have you noticed, guys, that all these different protests around the country, you see same signs, you see same T-shirts, you see same designs, you see the same chants, you see them organized. They all happen to show up at the same time, sometimes the same vehicles. I mean, it's like a rent-a-protester. So who is backing these protesters? Who's spending such big money that it is trying to undermine America in a huge, huge way? And boy, is it destructive, and boy, is it damaging to our democracy. Well, Tom Homan says enough, that they're about to crack down tough on that. Take a listen. Here's Tom Homan just a little bit ago.
First off, Ben Berquam, Real America's Voice News. On behalf of the American people, I just want to say thank you to you and to all of the agents that are putting their lives on the line to go after the people that were allowed in the last administration. We watched that happen in the media, the honest media, covered up by many of the media that are behind me. We want to say thank you, and to all the men and women that are out there. Can you talk to us about what's being done with the leadership on these signal chats, on these WhatsApp chats that are organizing the attacks against you, the obstruction against you? Are we going to be arresting those individuals as well? And to the folks out there in America that voted for this, that want mass deportations because they saw a mass invasion under Joe Biden, what would you say to them? How are we going to get to that point?
Well, first of all, about the organization and the funding of the attacks on ICE. I'm not going to answer a lot about that because I'm not going to show our hand, but they'll be held accountable. Justice is coming.
I love Tom Homan. He's like Clint Eastwood. Justice is coming. Or Charles Bronson. Or maybe Steven Seagal. But he is great. He is no nonsense. He's direct. And you know, when he looks in the camera and says justice is coming, it's coming in a big, big way. So here is the video that everybody's talking about. It broke just before we were on the air last night. And I'm sure many of you have now had a chance to really look at that video. Boy, have I. And I was looking at it right before the show last night. We talked about it because it had just come out. And now the world is talking about that video. And I'm talking about Alex Preddy, who is the man who died in that altercation with authorities there in Minneapolis. That was on January 24th. But on January 13th, you see this video of him fighting with agents. And it starts with him spitting at agents, screaming at them, saying, F you, F this, come get me, come kill me, come do this, come do that, come shoot me. I mean, that's highly provocative. I mentioned the spitting. And then he kicks out the taillight. You see him like giving like a, Bruce Lee kick a couple times to the taillight so much it falls right out. And he continues fast and furious, swearing, and he still has the gun in his holster at that time. They stop the vehicle. It's ICE vehicle. They're driving away. So he's doing all this as they're driving away. They're filming this because I guess some of his friends thought it was so cool. And then ICE gets out of the vehicle and comes over to him and says, hey, what are you doing? You're destroying federal property. You're threatening us. They put him on the ground. He has a loaded gun. And he's wrestling with them on the ground. He's not like saying, oh, yeah, peacefully protesting and peacefully acquiescing. He's struggling with them. He's fighting against them. So he's confronting and then he's fighting against them. Now, his family has come out in the last few hours, said, yes, that is my son, but nothing that happened that day should justify what happened on the 24th. I'll give him that. It doesn't mean if you're bad behavior one day, that it justifies something else another day. But it certainly does explain the mindset of this guy and maybe many of the things that led to that moment on the 24th in the video that now we have all seen when he lost his life, which is just terrible. It's terrible. It's tragic. It's horrible. But what was he saying to authorities? What was he doing with authorities? Where were his hands that day? I mean, there's still so many questions about the 24th. And this guy doesn't look like Mother Teresa, at least in the 13th, that's for sure. So I want to play the video again because does this sound like a nice, sweet, wonderful, just quiet protester? This is him approaching and kicking the ICE agent vehicle. This is on 11 days before he tragically lost his life.
This is a moment that filmed on January 3rd, showing a man who appears to be Alex interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy.
Well, now it's 100% because his family said, yes, that's him. But again, they're saying it has no bearing on what happened 11 days later. But here is Tom Homan. He was asked about it by a reporter for his thoughts on the shooting and so much more. Take a listen.
Similar Newsmax. The new video of Alex Preddy is now circulating. Your reaction to that, and do you think law enforcement could have played a role if, like, let's say, Minneapolis police were able to respond to that? Have those top law enforcement officials said they'll help or do anything to help these agents who are out here?
I'm not going to comment on any of these shootings. I said from day one, I said on any of these shootings, as a career law enforcement officer, we'll let the investigation roll out, let the investigation play out, and let it go where it goes. I'm not going to come out and make any comments I think is right, wrong. Do I have an opinion? Yeah, my personal opinion, but I'm not going to share that with you. I'm going to tell you to let the investigation play out and see where it goes. But again, the president, one of the words he said to me when I came up here, he said he didn't want to see anybody die. The less interference, the less rhetoric, the less, I have buried Border Patrol agents and I buried ICE agents throughout my career, and the saddest thing I've ever done is hold hand a folded flag to a wife or a child. I don't want to see anybody die, even the people we're looking for. I don't want to see anybody die. And despite what people think of Tom Homan, I say a prayer every night that everybody goes home safe. This isn't good. But I think my conversations the last 2.5 days are leading us to a safer community. Let ICE officers operate in the safety and security of a jail more than on the street. I think anybody here with common sense would say it's safer to arrest a public safety threat in the safety and security of a jail. And let me tell you, what is that going to result in? Less collateral arrests. When we go find that bad guy, when we find that bad guy, many times it's with others. Well, guess what? They're in the country illegally. We're going to enforce immigration law. They're coming too. You want less collateral arrest? Let us in the jail. But we're going to enforce immigration law. And for the people that say we're here to surrender our authority and the mission of enforcing immigration law, you are wrong. We're going to do targeted enforcement operations, and we're going to prioritize the public safety threats and national security threats. That is what we're here to do.
Powerful statement from Tom Homan. By the way, so he was going for a meeting with Governor Tim Walz. And these loony protesters who I think they're just, I don't know, like really thirsty for a protest, they show up outside Tim Walz's office because they don't want Tim Walz to be meeting with Tom Homan. They think that Tim Walz would be surrendering if he even meets with Tom Homan. He did have that meeting, but the far, far left doesn't want to have any contact, any cooperation, anything. They're never going to be happy. Never, which is why you got to crack down and why these, far extreme radicals like a Tim Walz, like a Jacob Fry, like others, this is why they never should have opened the door. They should have made it extremely clear, extremely focused, and said, we will not tolerate this. They should have done that from the beginning, but they still haven't even done that. So they still have a long way to go. But these people are just, thirsty for a protest and to really undermine and destroy America.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.